The year is 2021, and you're living in a world where smartphones don't exist. The closest thing to one is this brick that you carry around with you just so you can make calls. It has no internet capabilities whatsoever, and it runs on a different operating system than the one that powers your laptop. So, how would you go about taking a picture of an object or capturing a moment in time? Well, you would need a camera for that. But since you can't exactly fit a DSLR in your pocket, you'd probably opt for something smaller like this, the Kodak EasyShare Pocket digital camera. It was released in 2003 and had a 1-megapixel sensor along with being able to play back MP3s and display images on its 1.8-inch LCD screen. But there's a catch. It needs to be plugged into an outlet or a computer to download the pictures onto. Oh, and it costs $499 or the modern-day equivalent of about $740. And I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't come with any sort of warranty either. Now, let's say you're rich. You could afford not only the camera, but also its monthly service plan just so you can look at the photos you took. But what if you wanted to share those photos with people instantly over the internet? Well, you're out of luck because the EasyShare lacks Wi-Fi, and even if it did, the image capture process still requires you to plug it into a computer first. No cloud storage back then. You know what else lacked Wi-Fi? The Sony Ericsson K800i. It was released a year before the EasyShare and was one of the first camera phones to hit the market. It had a 1.3-megapixel sensor built right into it, so all of your images were saved directly to the phone. But that's about the only advantage it had. Its main selling point was that it could play back MP4 videos, which were basically just low-quality videos that you ripped from YouTube. It also supported the now outdated Symbian operating system. But let's say you didn't buy either of these. Let's say you didn't have a smartphone. How would you go about getting one? If you wanted to take a picture, you'd have to wait until you got home and use a real camera. That's why they were called digital cameras after all. They were a replacement for the film cameras that everybody used. But once you did get home, you could share your pictures with friends through services like MySpace or Friendster. You know, social media platforms that were very popular in the early to mid-2000s. It was a simpler time. A time where you couldn't check your messages or upload your latest Instagram story. And speaking of stories, one of the most exciting things to do with a computer back then was to view the latest Flash animations. It was like watching YouTube, except it was 10 times slower due to dial-up internet. And instead of videos, it was mostly just animated shorts that you could watch. And if you actually made one of these animations, you were regarded as a hero by all of your friends because it took a lot of skill to create these masterpieces. In fact, if you really wanted to become a successful animator, you could go to college and study traditional animation, unlike today where you can just learn how to use Adobe Animate on your own and post your work online for free. And what if you weren't so artistic and you wanted to earn money instead? Well, finding a job would be much harder without smartphones because all of the job postings would be stuck in newspapers or on job listing websites that barely anybody visited. So, unless you knew somebody who knew somebody, you probably wouldn't find work unless you had some marketable skills. Then you could just type up a resume and send it off to a company hoping you get an interview. Oh, and if you wanted to help out your local community, you could post an ad in the newspaper asking for donations. Just make sure to include your phone number so people can call you. Or better yet, you could just put a coin slot on the side of the box so people could donate without having to write a check. All in all, life without smartphones would be quite different. Nobody would sit around all day on their couch scrolling through Reddit. Instead, they'd go outside and touch grass. But seriously, comment down below and let me know what you think. What would life be like without smartphones? Also, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Subscribe to our channel for more questions answered and this whole world explained.